Welcome to today's Explainer. What we're diving into today is honestly nothing short of a high stakes business thriller. We are looking at the ultimate test of crossing the chasm, taking this incredibly complex early adopter crypto and AI tech and trying to land it squarely into mainstream institutional adoption. So, we're going to analyze a really fascinating strategic pivot from a platform called Dreamplay. Now, they have a massive, game changing vision for digital economics in Africa, but as we're about to see, having groundbreaking technology, well, that's really only half the battle. If you can't package that tech with trust and compliance, the whole thing literally falls apart. I want you to imagine sitting right across the table from a major decision maker, and this is the number floating in the room: 1 million. Dreamplay has this rare opportunity to pitch a South African union leader who has direct access to an organization of 1 million members. I mean, this is the holy grail for a digital platform, right? A chance to onboard a massive, highly organized user base all at a single time. It's the kind of scale most tech founders frankly only dream of. But here's the catch. Pitching a million-member institution is fundamentally completely different from pitching an individual crypto enthusiast. Okay, let's dive into this. To really get the pitch, we first have to understand Dreamplay's visionary core concept, which they map out in their white paper. They call it the participation economy. Basically, we're moving past the old industrial economy that just monetized your labor, and even past the internet economy that monetized your attention. Dreamplay's whole ecosystem is built on this radical idea that ordinary people shouldn't just be passive consumers of AI. Instead, their active participation, stuff like learning, collaborating, and coordinating in communities, is what actually creates tangible economic value. And this vision isn't just theoretical. It's deeply connected to a very specific strategic market. Their central phrase, Africa's talent is the world's opportunity, is the heartbeat of their narrative. Think about it. Africa has this massive, youthful working-age population, around 700 million people. Historically, the continent kind of entered the industrial and internet revolutions a bit late. But Dreamplay's goal, they want to make sure Africa is absolutely not late to the AI and blockchain wave. They're aiming to turn this incredible human potential into a digital export infrastructure, training workers to become what they call digitally aided humans who can compete globally. Let's walk through how this actually builds into their ecosystem loop because it's designed to be simple but highly interconnected. Step 1, you join a small social group called a circle. Then, through your participation, you help generate resources to sponsor workers so they can learn critical AI skills. Those workers then form teams, and those teams do the heavy lifting to activate digital economic zones called LOTs. Finally, as those LOTs light up, a massive virtual to real-world city is built. It's this compounding engine of economic opportunity, and honestly, it's a truly inspiring grand design. Section 1, the hidden pitch risk. But here is where our narrative takes a sharp turn. Because while the vision of a digital, worker-empowered city is amazing, the actual presentation being delivered to this union leader has a fatal flaw. The strategy documents reveal that the execution of this pitch is veering into incredibly dangerous territory. Listen to what's actually being pitched alongside this grand vision of AI. Suddenly, there's a game called Blessitano with cash prizes. They're throwing around phrases like nobody loses. They're claiming a 100 Rand input will yield a 120 Rand return in tokens in just 120 days. Plus, they're promising organizers a percentage cut and promoting an artificial scarcity of exactly 19,531 digital lots. It's creating severe cognitive overload. And let's be real, it makes a visionary platform sound dangerously like a crypto hustle or a multi-level marketing scheme. Now, what's really interesting about this is one specific question. Right in the middle of the transcript for this pitch, the union leader just stops everything and asks, "Am I going to get paid?" This single crucial question exposes the massive hidden risk in their current strategy. Notice what he isn't asking. He isn't asking if this is compliant or how his workers are protected or what they're going to learn. He is asking about his personal cut. And for a union with 1 million members, if a leader is personally profiting from pushing his own members into a system of payments and games, that entire deal is standing on a landmine. Let's methodically break down exactly why this is so incredibly dangerous, especially in the context of South Africa. First, if you combine a payment, an element of chance, and prizes, boom, you instantly trigger strict gambling and promotional competition laws. Second, promising organizer cuts makes you look exactly like a pyramid scheme. Third, those 120-day token return promises that immediately trigger scrutiny from the Financial Sector Conduct Authority. And the biggest issue by far is the union governance risk. A million-member union simply cannot adopt a system based on speculative tokens, gambling mechanics, and backdoor payouts to leaders. The reputational damage would be absolute. Section 2, the trust architecture pivot. And this brings us to the masterstroke of today's explainer. The strategic consultants who reviewed this pitch realized that to save the deal from totally collapsing under its own risk, they needed a massive intervention. They couldn't just tweak a few slides. They had to fundamentally re-engineer how the platform was positioned. I want you to hear this exact quote pitched to the DreamPlay founders. You have the finance architecture and the movement architecture. We are the trust architecture. It's brilliant. It's the missing third leg. The tech guys built the financial plumbing, the network guys built the hype, but to land a million-member institution, you need trust, worker protection, and compliance. Without that third leg, you literally cannot scale safely. Let's just contrast the two approaches directly to see how big of a pivot this is. The risky pitch goes in guns blazing. Games, tokens, cash prizes, organizer cuts, framing the whole thing as speculative income. That is a guaranteed way to get a hard no from any legal department. The strategic pivot replaces all of that with a safe pilot. You pitch a free, low-risk pilot first. You strip away the gambling and focus purely on AI and token literacy. You make sure all support is transparent and officially union-approved, and you frame the entire initiative around making workers ready for the future. Section 3, the Future Work Circle. The core vehicle for this safe pilot is called the Future Work Circle. The brilliant move here is entirely removing monetization, token buying, and game playing from the very first touchpoint. Before a single rand is spent, the focus is 100% on education. And this brilliantly illustrates how just a simple shift in vocabulary acts as a massive compliance shield. Look at the language they had to ditch. Guaranteed income, nobody loses, make money from your members. I mean, that's the language of a scam, right? Now look at the new language. Free to join, guided circle, AI literacy, union oversight. By just changing the words, you completely neutralize the regulatory threat. You flip it from being a financial liability to a pure educational asset. So what does this safe pilot actually look like on the ground? Well, the consultants proposed a tightly controlled run in South Africa. It's short, just 30 days. It uses a limited group of about 500 to 2,000 volunteer union members, and it is completely 100% free for them. The daily activities are hyper-focused on AI literacy and sharing real worker success stories. Most importantly, it strictly forbids any paid games, token purchases, or digital real estate sales during that time. You have to build the trust first before a single transaction can happen.
Section 4, the ethical compensation framework. But, we still have to address the elephant in the room, the union leader's question, am I going to get paid? You can't just ignore the financial reality of doing business with institutions. So the crucial point is this, compensation isn't inherently bad, but it needs unbreakable guardrails. The new framework demands that any compensation to organizers is totally transparent, documented, and officially approved by the union itself, and the money has to be tied to actual work, like delivering education or doing administration. It can absolutely never, ever be tied to member deposits, game losses, or speculative token purchases. That rule protects the leader, the union, and the platform.
This entire strategic pivot really boils down to one incredibly powerful statement made to the founders. The first step is not money. The first step is trust. I think that's the ultimate lesson for literally any tech company trying to cross the chasm from those crazy early adopters into mainstream, institutional scale. You can have the best tokenomics and the smartest AI on the planet, but institutions run on safety and defensibility. If you lead with greed, you're going to lose. But if you lead with trust, well, then you actually have a chance to change the world. To wrap things up, I want to leave you pondering this profound North Star question, which actually comes straight from DreamPlay's own white paper. It's basically the ultimate stress test for any modern digital platform. If expectations of profit disappeared tomorrow, would people still want to participate? Think about that. If your product is nothing but a vehicle for financial speculation, the answer is a hard no. But if you are actually building human potential, providing real education, and forging a genuine community, then the answer is yes. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I hope this changes how you look at the architecture of trust.